Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Outlook plugins for SJC Sync and Workplace Sync. This is something we commonly get a lot of service tickets on. Outlook a lot of times will be very slow or delayed opening. And it likes to pretty much blame whatever it can when that happens. So a lot of times the plugins will take the blame for that slowness. And when that happens, it will offer to disable them, or sometimes it will disable them on its own. It all varies, or sometimes asks a misleading question that you answer and it disables them. In either event, they tend to disappear. So this is what they normally look like when you come into a new email. This is Data Workplace. These are the typical icons you'll see for that. This is SJC Sync, which, depending on who you are, you may have this custom logoed for yourselves. It could be your company initials -sync, so you may see a different icon here depending on what you're using. But either way, the solution is really the same in either event. If you come in here, and let me turn it off real quick so we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so now we're in Outlook. We come in here and we want to use the sync, and of course, the icons are gone. Well, the exact opposite of what I did brings them back in most occasions. So let's take a look at Autotask first, which is now Data Workplace. If I come down here to my Workplace folder, some of you will have Autotask still, which will show a little padlock instead of this folder. But in either event, it should be a check in the box or some circling arrows to let you know that it's doing something. If you right-click on it and go to Preferences, and then you click on Preferences again, you'll see that there's a checkbox here in Enable Outlook plugin. Now, initially when an installation first happens, if you're missing it, this is a good place to check, but once it's checked, it pretty much stays that way, so it's not a very common thing for it to become unchecked and then have your plugins disappear. But if you've just done the installation and you're still not seeing them, you may want to check here. And of course, as it says, requires restart of Outlook. So if your Outlook was open during the installation, you may want to just close Outlook and open it again to make sure that it's actually done the installation or completed the installation. If it looks good here, then move back into Outlook. In Outlook, if you go to File, and now it's very important, we're in the very beginning page here. If I'm in a new email and I go to File here, I get completely different scenario than if I am in the very beginning and I click on File here. Different versions of Outlook handle this slightly different. There are some versions that will have a box here for Manage Slow or Disabled plugins. That looks like this. So if you have this version, that's where you want to go. If you do not have that version of Outlook, you're not going to see that box. If you do not see that box, you then go to Options, click on Add-ins, and you'll see the add-ins here, inactive application add-ins, and it'll show, of course, our Data Outlook plugin. Again, if you've done the installation back when it was Autotask, it may still say Autotask Outlook plugin. Either way, it's the same thing. What you want to do is we want to click on Disable Items and go. Oh, sorry. We want to click on COM add-ins and go. And then we just want to check them back. Okay, right now we're only going to worry about the Data Outlook plugin. Once I check that, it seems like nothing's happened, but if I click on New Email, here are my data icons again. And a helpful tip here, if you go into Preferences, this is a setting that determines how often or when Autotask is going to be used to send your attachments. This is a very common mistake that people forget to check, or sometimes we even forget to check and determine how you want this to work. If you add an attachment in and it's set to always, then no matter what, it's going to send that attachment as an Autotask link or as a Data Workplace link. If you choose Disabled, then it's going to only do it when you choose these icons and tell it what to do. If you choose ask before sending, then it's going to ask you every single time you send an attachment, what do you want to do and what options do you want to choose? So you can set it to always. You can choose your options and it will just always do it. Set it to disabled, and the only time it's going to do it is when you click on one of these options here. Or you can set it to ask before sending, and it will ask you to choose these options every single time you send an attachment. Most commonly, we're choosing disabled, and then you're still able to go here into the icons and actually manually do it still. So it's not disabling the functionality, it's just disabling it, trying to do it every time you send an email. So as you see, the SJC sync icon, that one's still missing. So we fixed the auto task workplace or the data workplace Outlook plugin, but we've not fixed the SJC sync one. And it's really the exact same thing. If you go into File, if you go to Options, choose Add-ins, you see that it's down here, COM Add-ins, and you click Go. And you choose the SJC sync for Outlook. And again, this could be your company initials -sync as well. And then with this one, you'll see an icon actually at this first level that has some items here that you can choose from. If you go to this attachment policy, this is the exact same thing that we were looking at in auto task. And I usually set this one to advanced only when I choose. So it's slightly different in its wording, but it's still pretty much the same thing. Automatic, of course, would do it for anything over 5 megs. That's not a bad one to have. That way, if you accidentally get an attachment that's very large, it's automatically going to do that for you or start that process. That may make it easier. I might even move this up to maybe like 10 megs or something like that, just so that it gives you a little more breathing room. If you choose always, of course, it's going to do it every single time. Advanced is much like how we set data workplace to disabled. It's only going to do it when you choose to. And that's what I prefer. I prefer to make that choice myself. So click OK there. And then when I go to new email, here is my SJC sync icon. And from there, I can go in, choose my folders, whatever I need to do, and change my settings or what I want to require for that attachment. And again, this is a very, very common problem. Anytime Outlook has any hiccups starting up, it offers to disable these in hopes to make itself faster. Sometimes that can be misleading. Sometimes you can answer it incorrectly, and it will make those plugins disappear. So in the event that happens, you now know where to go. And again, here is what it looks like in some of the, I would say newer, but some of these are actually on the older versions of Outlook too. So I haven't really found the rhyme or reason to make this button appear or disappear. It seems like a variety of different updates and or feature sets have downloaded on different Outlooks to cause this option here. So if you do see this option, slow and disable COM add-ins, if you click on it right here, it does the exact same thing as the page where we get into the checkbox. It kind of skips all of this piece and pretty much takes you to something similar to this. It's more of a web interface, but it's still the same thing. You'll be able to click on the plugins themselves and choose what you want to do with them a little bit more so than what is shown here. And that's it. You guys have a great day. Thank you much.